everyone, Pat here from around the shop. We are going to try to work up a little bit of firewood today. It's nice and cool. It's 60 degrees here, just a little after 6 in the morning, and a lot of cloud cover and perfect conditions. So anyway, last night I started decking some of this. A friend of mine, he cleared off for a going to build a little metal building garage kind of structure, and he's cleaning up some, it's mostly poplar and cherry. I saw a piece or two of maple hiding in there, and then there's some oak from a job we did. Well, the big tree jacking job. You have to go check that one out. But anyway, there's some oak that just kind of made its way up here as it was in the way when they cut the hay here. My brother-in-law and father-in-law cut the hay here. So anyway, I was trying to get some of this up on some rails for two reasons. Number one, it's a lot faster to grab it when it's not all tied up in a pile with forks. You can just go and grab a piece, set it on the X-rack and go. And the other thing is, this stuff's really dirty. It's kind of where it was pouring rain when we went to get it, and it kind of got wallowed around in the dirt a little bit. So a little bit muddy, but I kind of trying to let that wash down a little bit with some rain. So, and then also sorting out some of the logs that we can use for the sawmill. There's a few of these runners we'll use to put on the sawmill. Now they'll make one buys, you know, sheeting boards or something. So, but anyway, there's probably a dozen or so altogether between these and what's left in this pile over here. So we're sawing this poplar and cherry because the girls' little firewood roadside stand is going really well. And also they've been doing a lot of bundle wood for a local campground. So they've already sold, called, I think it was Wednesday. We were putting up hay at Dad's Wednesday, that's when it was. And that afternoon, and he called and from the campground and ordered the third round of 100 bundles. So that's pretty good here, just right after Memorial Day weekend. And we got the little firewood vending machine, we call it, or the roadside stand like Hometown Acres is running up there. And they have already sold, I think 16 bundles and one loose stack of wood. So they're really tickled about that. And so anyway, we got some bundled yesterday for the 100 bundle order, and we're gonna go deliver that later today. So I might try to video a little bit of getting that load up and what we're doing there. And then I don't have any of us bundling. I keep forgetting about it, so I apologize. I'll try next time we fire up the bundle machine, I'll get some of that video. But anyway, so we're going to cut up some of this stuff. Again, great for campfire stuff. It's a little dirtier than we'd like, but we're going to try to clean on it a little bit. And the really dirty stuff will just burn here, you know, in the fire pit behind the house. So anyway, that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. Again, we'll sort out, there's a couple more pieces in here that we can make some one buys out of for sheeting or something for under sheet metal on a building. So anything we can run through the sawmill, we'll set aside, and anything else we'll go ahead and get it cut for splitting. And we got a few pieces right here. I had an apple tree there that was real close to the roadside stand that never did any well. It always had little itty bitty tiny apples. It was over top my neighbor's mailbox, and it just wasn't much. So we're going to cut this thing up into pieces for smoking, and for folks smoking wood, meat and stuff like that. It's apples. That'll be kind of cool. So we'll get that cut up and we'll put it in its own bin. And we're going to, I guess, just go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to get the saw fired up today, and hopefully the girls, they'll have some fun splitting with a splitter. And that's the one you'll have to see the video on it, getting it coming to life. So that's exciting. And but anyway, we're going ahead and get started. All right, so when we're cutting for bundle wood, we've got to make sure that we don't get big old ugly knots like this and that, because they just don't split well. So there's going to be a good bit of waste in this because I kind of got to get some straight grained area. So what I'm going to do is kind of cut this guy like right in here, and yeah, we should be able to get one right down here on the bottom below that big knot. So that nasty knot chunk there will kind of be waste, unfortunately. But we'll burn it in our own fire pit. No big deal. That one there, it's on one side. We'll just split that chunk off of there, so that'll be good all right there. So there we go. pick up some of these vines here first because they can be kind of a trip hazard, and once I get a bunch of blocks on top of them, they're going to be hard to pick up. So get them kind of moved over here out of the way. Apparently when you park a log on them, they're hard to move too. Let me just trim that one real quick. Shorty can't trip you. You may have seen a minute, I don't know, no, I don't think the camera was rolling a minute ago. Anyway, battery went dead. But you'll see I kind of set this up so that the work flows well, because I'll be grabbing out of that mess over there. Again, yesterday I kind of got some ready to go over here, but I'm going to go ahead and break this pile down. Then, instead of going in straight and then going in straight, what I want to do for better efficiency is go in straight and then come back over here 90 degrees. It's just a lot less turning and wiggling with the tractor, so it'll just be a lot smoother and faster. And so anyway, that's kind of why you see this set up the way it is. Another thing too, I'm using a tractor instead of the Walden forklift, because the lift on it, the forks are on a mast. They don't have much tilt back, so it's really hard for me to grab hold of the log like that. And now ideally we put a frostbite on there, but I've already switched out my John Deere, or switched out to the John Deere stuff for the summer. And I'm really thinking about, I've got a dealership for the Express Stihl attachments, and they make an adapter that will go on the skid steer and then go hook right up to my John Deere style hookup. So I'm really thinking about maybe getting one of those, and you guys can see how the thing works. But I think that would be a benefit, because I could go from John Deere to skid steer back and forth real quick and easy on that tractor. Because my problem is, everybody says, well, why don't you just run the skid steer forks? Well, there's two reasons. Number one, the skid steer forks, the way the boom and everything on that tractor is made, I did it several years ago when I bought all the skid steer coupling for it, is it doesn't let you see the tips really good. So when you're going into the load, you can't see where the tips are because where the skid steer paddles latch. So that was really frustrating, because I spent quite a bit of money buying the skid steer connectors and then the or latch boxes from Deere, and a set of I think I bought back then a HLA, because I really like HLA forks. I bought a set of HLA forks for skid steer. They just simply didn't work. I ended up selling them with another skid steer we sold a few years ago, and it worked out, but I had to go back to Deere. And the second reason is because my little bucket is already set up with Deere on it. So really hate to have to cut all that stuff off and then it not work. We'll lose visibility and all that mess too. So I gotta kind of stick with John Deere on the tractor. Now, if I stick with my forks and my little bucket, I don't have the expense there. If I buy that adapter, then I can run the my big bucket that I use for firewood or snow, any of that stuff, my snow plow, a grapple. That frostbite grapple is awesome, and it will be perfect for this. We use it on the 644 or the 244J, I think, too. So, but anyway, that's probably what I'm going to do is get one of those adapter pieces, and that way we can use this little guy everywhere that it's perfect for it. So anyway, that's kind of why you see going on what's going on, why we're using. And the other thing too, why we, I really like skid steers. I don't want anybody to think that I don't, but for my practicality here, they just don't work super well. Now, I'm not saying if I didn't find a good deal on one, I wouldn't have one here, but they tear up the ground really bad. So you can see we've got a lot of turning here, and you're going to see at the end of the day, there's not a lot of ground disturbance with this little tractor. So that's a big thing. The second thing is it's hard to get out of a skid steer with the boom up. Some it's impossible, like a Deere, a Cat, Bobcat, all those that have swinging front doors. If the bucket isn't all the way down or all the way up, you can't get out of the machine. because the door swings out. Now, when I say get out, a bobcat, you can't even do that by yourself if it's up, because you have to have somebody else drop the safety latch on the cylinder. Now, deer, I'm not sure about cat, but I know deer and possibly New Holland, they have it to where you can engage the boom locks from inside the cab, which is super smart because that allows you to, at least with the boom up, get out of the machine. So then there's the other part of it. I think, I know Kubota, I'm not sure about Takeuchi, but of those, the doors kind of flip up and go over your head, and older deer was that way. And I like that because the big thing I like about it is you can talk to somebody outside the machine, not through a door. It's really hard sometimes to be communicating with somebody through a door, and it's nice to be able to open that door up so you can hear them better. You're trying to hook something or something like that. And you say, well, what's the big deal? Just put the boom down. Well, a lot of times, like you saw here, sometimes you need to pick a log up and trim an end off of it. Well, I don't want to do that in the dirt. And if I can get it a foot off the ground, that makes all the difference in the world. Well, you can't get the door open because the boom's foot up in the air, the door won't swing. So that's frustrating. Now, there is a solution to that, and that's the JCB robot. It has a side entrance door and a mono boom. I really like that. And then they kind of took it to the next step with the teleskid. So you have a telescopic boom that goes in and out. I really like that too. That would probably be, if I had a skid steer here on the farm, it would probably be one of those two machines because of that. Now, the third reason that I choose using a little tractor like this for this kind of job today is getting up and in and out and back down out of a skid steer. If you do that in and out, you're going to see here every piece of wood are going to be on off that machine. And same with the Walden. It's real easy in out, just sliding right in and out the side of. So, you know, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but after many years of doing that on knees, it kind of adds up. So, but anyway, that's my thought process while we're doing. Another thing too, the big John Deere loader, it's really dandy if you're loading a whole load of logs and placing them all or setting them. But if you've got to climb up a flight of steps to get in the silly thing every time, it kind of wears on you. So, and again, you know, running a chainsaw is like 6 hours, and that's all you get in a day if you're under OSHA stuff. So that you kind of got to make all those minutes count. And here I am wasting them chattering, but I just want to kind of let you know a little bit about what's on my mind there, and the reason that you see what's going on in the thought process. That maybe save somebody from making a purchase that won't work good for them. So anyway, that's a little bit on that. So let's get back to making some wood here. Oh, it is humid this morning, but it's cool. It's 60-some degrees, and I like that. I'll try to get some of this done before the sun comes beating down on us. I'm going to be alternating back and forth so that it flip up on me. A few of these back so we have a little bit of room for next time. And then what we'll do is just kind of keep advancing that way so we don't have to move them all every time. As they start stacking up, we'll just move the rack. And that rack is nice because it keeps it from rolling like they would on a fork. and it keeps it up off the ground so you're in better position all day long. Benefit for the log rack is your chainsaw isn't in the dirt. That's probably the biggest one. I failed to mention that a moment ago. So anyway, use the sidewalk chalk for marking it out so that it'll be in the right length for bundling. Our bundling machine is a let me think. It's a twister. That's what it is, and got an ugly knot here, so I'm going to cut this piece out. So anyway, our bundling machine, it does a great job, has a speed loader trays, and fabulous machine. It's my girls can run it really well, and they love doing it. It's a pile of fun for them. And so they kind of has to be right because it sits in little racks on the little like log bunks, I guess you'd call it. So kind of got to be in the right spot there for all that to work. And if it's a little long or a little short, it doesn't want to work too good. I've got dirt on this side of the log, so I'm going to switch around and cut from this side so the chain pulls out on that dirt instead of pulling that dirt all the way through the wood. You may have saw me cut this kind of goofy spot, and the reason for that is I needed that. There was a curve in the wood right there, and you really want the ends to be nice and straight, or they feed funny through a splitter that kind of pushed it way back up out of there. So what we're doing there is just straighten it out, and so that gave me a little bit short piece. So I just kind of went down. There was in that bad spot down there that was going to be cut out anyway. So we just went ahead, trimmed that one down a little shorter, and just cheated them all down that same amount toward the bad spot. This is the one with the bad spot in it. Again, be fine for using around here, but doesn't make pretty bundle wood. So instead of standing on all this mess over here to pull so the chain pulls through the dirt, I'll just cut them from the bottom. I'll show you a trick on that. right, there she is, 7th tank of fuel. She seems to be running pretty good. Again, we're running the MS 400 today. Running regular chain because I had one. And I wanted to see just what kind of life we'd get on this dirty wood. Been a while since I've run one of these, so just so you can kind of see what we're looking like, and then we'll maybe cut some more dirty wood with carbide and you can kind of see the difference. Honestly, being poplar, it's not taking much to get through it, so not bad, not bad.